Good morning. We will continue with today's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here at our first symposium of ADIA Lab. I will begin by introducing our distinguished guests. Her Excellency Carme Artigas, Spanish Secretary of State for Digitization and Artificial Intelligence. Her Excellency has launched an impressive program to foster the digital transformation of the Spanish economy. Before holding office, she founded Synergic Partners, a European company that pioneered the use of big data, and she's highly regarded as an international expert in technological innovation. She is affiliated with Columbia University and Stanford. His Excellency Íñigo de Palacio España, Ambassador of Spain to the UAE. His Excellency has had an illustrious diplomatic career representing Spain at the United Nations and other international organizations in Geneva and in New York. He has been Spain's ambassador in Serbia and Montenegro, Chile, and now to the UAE. He has also worked in the private sector as Vice President for Global Institutional Relations of Indra Systems, a leading technological multinational corporation. Professor Enrique Herrera, Vice Rector for Research and Knowledge Transfer, University of Granada, Spain. He's a professor in computer science and artificial intelligence, and he's one of the most highly cited researchers in artificial intelligence, with an H index of 117. He's a fellow of the IEEE, a member of Academia Europea, and a member of the Advisory Council of the Elcano Royal Institute. And finally, our very own Professor Horst Simon, Director of ADIA Lab. Dr. Simon is an internationally recognized expert in the development of parallel computational methods for the solution of scientific problems of scale. He has a unique background with tenures in the industry, like Boeing, SEI, in research labs like NASA Ames, Berkeley Lab, and in universities, Stony Brook University, UC Berkeley. Prior to joining ADIA Lab as its inaugural director in 2022, Dr. Simon was Deputy Director for Research at Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratories. He is a twice winner of the Gordon Bell Prize in 1988 and 2009. It's really a pleasure to have our distinguished guests who are going to inform us about what this collaboration with Spain is about, ADIA Lab Europe. I would like to structure the panel into three different themes. As I go through each of these themes, I will ask questions related to that theme from each of our panelists. They will share their ideas with us. I will kindly ask our panelists to try to limit their answer to 2 minutes to give time to discuss all the topics. And finally, I will open the floor for questions. So as we go through these rounds, please try to identify what are the topics that you would like to analyze and expand later on. Let's begin with theme number one, ADIA Lab Europe and Spain. A question for Dr. Simon. ADIA Lab has had multiple suitors for its European headquarters. Could you please explain to our audience what was the rationale behind choosing the city of Granada as our European headquarters?
Thank you, Marcus. Actually, the answer is easy because Spain had a well-established strategy for AI long before it became a buzzword. And so it is therefore one of the countries with a very well-established leading strategy to introduce AI across the society. That was an important attraction. Second, we had a very strong local support through Her Excellency Carme Artigas, who was very much interested in connecting Spain with collaborators outside of the EU, and so we were a fitting partner. And then I think lastly, there was a lot of local welcome in the city of Granada at the University of Granada. And so according to the vision in Spain, Granada will be a center of AI in Spain. So and for us, the welcome by the city and by the university was just tremendous. The city offered us a building and the university offered a lot of collaborations. And of course, and I would add to this, the added long-term historical and cultural connection that the city of Granada and Andalusia had with the Arab world. And so we connect to a long and deep tradition of connecting the Arab world with Spain by being based in Granada.
Excellent, and indeed we are very proud of that connection. A question for Her Excellency Carme Artigas. During your tenure as Secretary of State, Spain has unleashed an impressive strategy for digitization of its economy. What are your short-term and long-term objectives, and how does ADIA Lab play a role in them?
First of all, thank you very much. I'm very honored to share with you this symposium and celebrate this partnership. Dr. Simon puts it in a very rational way, but I know that my private visit in Granada made the magic, and that's the only way I could convince you. And as you said, yes, since I took office in 2020, being the first Secretary of State for Digitalization and Artificial Intelligence already 3 years ago, we had a very compelling strategy called Digital Agenda 2026 that I'm responsible for. So we have mobilized 70,000 million euros from the Next Generation Fund, out of which 30% goes for the digital transformation of our Spanish economy. We didn't want to come back to the starting point before the health crisis that led us to the economic crisis. We wanted to change the pattern of growth. Not only we are growing 5 times more the EU average in terms of quantitative figures, but we have also changed the economic mix on our GDP. Currently, the digital economy already accounts 24% of the national GDP, and we are having record figures of employed people, and 26% of the new jobs are already in the area of digitalization, technology, and science. So that were the first short-term objective, just, for example, digitalization of SMEs. We are 10% above the average of the EU on SMEs online, for example. We are the second place in Europe with the highest broadband. At the end of this year, 2023, we'll have 100% coverage, both urban and rural areas, with 100 megabits per second. We are deploying 5G. So all these were like short-term. But at the same time, we need to do today the bets for tomorrow's opportunities. And that was our bet on the National Strategy on Artificial Intelligence, especially focusing high-performance computing, Mare Nostrum 5, and 2 quantum computings and 2 emulators available for the research and academia. And also, important bet on neurotechnologies. We are building, with a 200 million investment, the first national center of neurotechnologies, one of the 5th in the world. And also on artificial intelligence. There we have our national plan for green algorithms, which is important to be aware that development of artificial intelligence must be sustainable. We should develop algorithms that are green by design. And also very important, our objective, our obsession in raise the academic excellence of our universities. And therefore we launched this program, Spain Talent Hub, aiming to attract top research centers outside European Union and convince them to bring the European headquarters to Spain. So we have managed to be the first agreement with ADIA Lab, having their European headquarters in Granada. We have also closed an important deal with Tech Monterrey, that are going to make their headquarters in Oviedo. And we are now also in conversations with an important research center in India and another in Japan. At the end of the day, the importance of academic excellency is based on international collaboration. And I think that the real approach from ADIA Lab, having basic research, but also applied research in high complex problems such as climate change, public health, digital economy, match perfectly our aim to combine academic research with innovation and above all boost the national talent and I think training the next generation of researchers and the next generation of high-skilled professionals.
Wonderful. It's truly remarkable how much has been accomplished in such a short period of time, and we're very thankful for your help and to make this partnership happen. Now, Professor Enrique Herrera, the University of Granada has created an ambitious hub for research in artificial intelligence with various industrial applications. Could you please provide an overview of your research lines and how does ADIA Lab Europe fit your overall strategy?
Thank you, Marco. Firstly, I want to say thank you to invite me to participate in this symposium. Of course, I want to say thank you to decide to put ADIA Labs Europe in Granada, because in my opinion, it's very, very good place in Spain to open the door in the collaboration, in the local collaboration in Spain, but in the international collaboration from Spain. But regarding to your question, I focus in three important aspects. First aspect is Granada University is the top university in the world, in Spain, the second best university in Spain, but in particular in computer science, artificial intelligence is the top one university in Spain and Europe. We had a lot of potential in this topic, and not only from the fundamental point of view, from the application point of view. I offer the opportunity to collaborate from the general point of view of the application of artificial intelligence. We had a lot of several research groups working in this topic, in medicine, digital humanity, sociology, and we offer the opportunity to collaborate in this very excellent academic framework. The second time, we are working now to open the door in the university to the collaboration with the enterprise. Even we are working the last 2 years in the creation of the very artificial intelligence ecosystem in Granada, in order to put together people that need solution in the enterprise, but people that provide solution based on artificial intelligence in the enterprise. Even 1 year ago, we create the specific foundation for artificial intelligence, the application, in collaboration with the different public entities, but with the local and international enterprise, similar to Google Cloud, the system, IBM, and more enterprise. And this is a good opportunity to, to establish this connection between the enterprise. And finally, now you know that in Europe we had the idea to develop the concept of the European University. At this moment, Granada University is the leader in the specific European University. Arcus is the alliance, is composed by 9 international universities from Germany, Italy. I think that it's a good opportunity, but to collaborate not only with Spanish university, to collaborate with many, many important European universities using this alliance, Arcus alliance.
Wonderful. And when we had the opportunity to visit your campus, we were very impressed with your collaborations with Google, IBM, and Indra, and other companies.
Yeah.
Now the question to our dear friend, the ambassador, His Excellency Íñigo de Palacio. In recent years, science has become an instrument of diplomacy. What is the significance of ADIA Lab Europe in terms of the diplomatic relationships between Spain and the UAE?
Thank you. Good morning. I want to thank ADIA Lab for having me here today. I want to place this in the broader context of the collaboration between Spain and the UAE. On 2 February last year, 2022, our Prime Minister came to the country and signed a very important joint communique with President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. And in this communique, when it came to science and technology collaboration, it was highlighted that Spain has been doing a significant job over the last years through the organization of scientists and researchers in the UAE, of which you are one of the prominent members. So we have scientists and researchers scattered around the country doing great things. And one of the examples of this collaboration was certainly the cooperation that we have with the Technological Innovation Institute for the construction of the first nanocomputer that is going to have applications in various fields relating to artificial intelligence and precision medicine and the like. And we were instructed through the communique to continue working in other different areas: defense, aerospace, biotechnology, agriculture, sustainability and energy, and ICT applied to various sectors of the economy and society. And this is what we've been doing. At the end of this visit, an MOU was signed between the 2 ministers on industry and advanced technology, and we are rolling out all the provisions of this MOU. When I look at the project in Granada, I'm particularly happy that looking at the preamble and the different sectors of activity, they are all focusing on these priorities that have been set for all scientific and technological bilateral cooperation. And on top of that, I have to say that I'm happy because I see that it will not only focus on these 5 projects on artificial intelligence that have been already pinpointed and underway, but also that ADIA Lab Europe in Granada is going to serve as a cornerstone for cooperation, the organization of seminars. We're going to look at Europe and Emirati universities to organize new things and ideas, and this is going to revert back one way or the other to the UAE, and then we're going to build a bridge from the UAE to Spain, Granada, and from Granada to Europe. I think this is a great endeavor, and we are particularly happy and thankful for your efforts to be with us. Thank you.
We are very thankful that you opened your embassy to this partnership, and thanks to that, we achieved the Friend of Spain title, which is a badge of honor. Now let's move to theme number 2, the impact of artificial intelligence in society. I will start with asking Dr. Horst Simon, how can society benefit from breakthroughs in the computational sciences and AI?
This is a wonderful question to answer in 2 minutes only. Thank you, Marcus, for putting me to this test. So the impact of AI on society is already today is so broad that it's very difficult to focus on only a few activities. And so I think I'll focus this a bit in terms of what ADIA Lab is doing. And I think one of the area of immediate impact will be in health science and understanding the vast array of data we have from our medical records, from also tests and image data and other data. And so there is a huge opportunity scientifically for AI to be used to make progress. And I think this is the area of potential greatest impact. Now, beyond that, there are many other areas where AI will change society. So, of course, there's a big debate about impact on employment, impact on the economy in general, impact on national security. And so I think all these areas are important to keep in mind, but I think for us locally here, the health science connection is the most important one.
Wonderful. And this creates a possibility for great benefits to society. However, we need to counter that with potential risks. And here's a question for Her Excellency Carmen Artigas. As Dr. Simon explained, computational research in general and artificial intelligence in particular have the potential to greatly improve living standards. At the same time, you have been a leading voice in raising awareness about the potential for unethical use of these technologies. Could you please explain those concerns and the EU legislation that you have helped draft to address them?
Yes, of course, we are all witnessing an explosion of new deep tech and new emerging technologies. Now we're putting the focus on artificial intelligence, but soon on quantum computing, neurotechnologies, synthetic biology. So all generate a lot of benefits, but also some harms, not only long term, but also in short term. We already in 2020 elaborated in Spain the Charter of Digital Rights. That's making a public consultation on what are the rights we want to preserve in the online world that we already enjoy in the physical world, and how do you need to reinterpret the right of intimacy, the right to be not to be discriminated, the right to trustful information, and that led us design new chapters of rights, the rights associated with artificial intelligence, like the right not to be discriminated by an algorithm. We are the first country having the concept of transparent algorithm transparency in a law, the law that regulates the writer's economy between companies and employers. Also, the right of a second human opinion when an automated decision is excluding you from a service or a medical treatment. And also potential new rights around neurotechnology, like the right not to be manipulated, the right not to be augmented. So all that discussion, we leveraged that from year 2020 internationally. That was the set of the European Declaration of Principles and Rights in the digital space. And also we signed the Ibero-American Declaration on Digital Rights. But at the same time, we were working on the European legislation on artificial intelligence, what is called the AI Act. That it happens that we now, and myself in particular, as hosting the European presidency, I am responsible to end this legislative portfolio before December. And we were concerned about this 3 years ago. Nobody else was. Nobody was concerned putting limits to technology. And in fact, we felt very alone. I would say the American perspective, so let it all into the industry. Data is in the hands of the industry. We don't care. In Asia, probably, especially China, that is in the hands of the governments. We don't care. We say, no, yeah, we do care. We want the data and the future of data. The limits to technology development and artificial intelligence are set by the citizens and that we can participate in its governance. But just 6 months ago, when the AI generative boom was like, here, this is a reality, the ChatGPT Eureka moment, everybody realized that, okay, we probably need to put some rail guards to this development. And now there is the conversation, so welcome to the club. So what it was like the third way, now we see is the only way. Because otherwise we will not be able to capture all the opportunities. And however, now we are in a moment where different approaches. But the last 2 weeks have been very, very, there is important momentum. Just 2 weeks ago, the G7 signed the Hiroshima Declaration on a code of conduct for generative AI. President Biden issued their executive order also on AI safety. I was attending last week the AI Safety Summit in UK with the Minister of AI here, the Emirates. And I've been appointed the co-chair of the UN AI Advisory Board, working together to align all these different initiatives towards a global governance, something that President Sanchez already called to action in the last presentation in front of the United Nations General Assembly. So I think we are in a pivotal moment when we need to focus all the efforts to work together towards a common consensus on a global oversight of artificial intelligence. We think that that is not enough to let the industry organize itself. Okay, it's fine, all the efforts around AI product safety, but I think there are some fundamental rights that are under question. Probably the letter that was issued by Elon Musk and others trying to pose innovation, we were not agree on that. I think that innovation needs to accelerate to solve the problem that technology has already created. And the risk is not like a Skynet moment in 10 years' time. It's already here. It's not just existential risk in the future. The existential risk is we cannot believe what we see, we cannot believe what we listen to, we cannot believe what we read, and they were already having problems about mental health with children, also fake news. We have 40 elections next year in the world. Imagine that we have, of course, manipulation of those polls. So I think the problems already exist, we need to focus on, and European approach is more rights-oriented approach than principles-based. So we are really now in a very critical moment, and I hope we'll make it right because that's the future of our children.
Wonderful. Now a question to His Excellency Íñigo de Palacio. As explained by the Secretary of State, AI raises hopes as well as fears. It is a disruptive technology which will necessarily create winners and losers. As such, it is already the source of geopolitical tensions, for instance, between the US and China. Based on your diplomatic experience at the United Nations and as an ambassador in 3 continents, how do you expect these tensions to evolve?
Thank you. I'm going to draw a historical parallel. Back in 1981, when I was passing my exams to enter the diplomatic school, one of the free exercises to write for 3 hours was precisely the influence of technology in international relations. I remember at the time we were speaking about the new international economic order, the impact of technology on development, the arms race, and the like. And all of a sudden, we realized we had to organize a process, and we were speaking about protocols and codes of conduct, arm limitation treaties, and the like. So whenever there is a challenge that poses risk to the international society, I think there is a natural drive to organize ourselves in a multilateral forum. Just remember, for instance, the debates about exploration and exploitation of deep seabed and oceans, deep sea mining, and the regulations that were settled in the framework of the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Now, 40 years later, the challenges are even greater. They are even greater because after the advent of internet, now with AI and everything connected societies, we are now facing all the challenges that the Secretary of State raised. We're facing internal and external security risk, cybersecurity, we are limitation of armament, job disparities and displacement, different levels of economic development, and the like. And of course, unintended consequences of AI and black box. I'm a letters man. I know nothing about science, but I was interested to see that the SEC recently in the US had ruled just to prevent crisis in the financial markets, and I think this is going to be just the beginning of a trend. Where are we going? I think the name of the game is going to be an enormous regulatory wave that we are just starting to ride. I think this is clear. I think science alone is not going to give us a moral or ethical compass. Humans need to sort this out, and I anticipate that in this multilateral fora there are going to be enormous disparities of interest and, of course, clashes, because risk represent opportunities for some, and therefore they will try to exploit them. There is a significant precedent that is climate change, and in fact I've seen in the Bletchley Park discussions this past week that has given us a very good foretaste of what is coming, that there is we're beginning to find similarities between the clash around discussions on climate change and the clash on how to regulate artificial intelligence. So I anticipate that there is going to be an enormous regulatory tide that we will need to serve and protect our societies, as was said.
Very insightful, thank you. It's not enough to regulate. We need to educate people to be responsible and to develop technologies that do not harm society. How could the collaboration between ADIA Lab Europe and the University of Granada help address the concerns raised by the Secretary of State and the Ambassador?
Yes, I say that now we had the opportunity to develop a lot of collaboration about this topic that you said, about data regulation. In fact, now with our computer science center, we are working in this direction together with ADIA Lab in order to define how it's possible to define different instruments to develop responsible, fairness, safety, artificial intelligence system. This is our important topic now. Even with the support of the Secretary, Spanish Secretary of Artificial Intelligence, I propose the concrete project to develop this kind of study. But then we offer other opportunity to develop the application of artificial intelligence in the different fields in Granada, because we had different excellence centers about the different topics. For example, we had the opportunity to collaborate with our excellence center in mathematics. We are here with the director of the center, is Professor Joaquín Pérez. But in Granada, we had other excellent centers working, for example, in the medicine, in biomedicine. We offered the opportunity to develop together this kind of the application of artificial intelligence. Of course, in digital humanity, Granada University is the general university, and we had the middle of the professor corresponding to this kind of the discipline, sociology, law, digital humanity, and now we are working in the direction to show the people in this topic the opportunity to collaborate in the development and in the application of artificial intelligence, because it's more important to focus on the human being, not only to the technology. This is our responsibility. But additional, you know that in Granada we are working now in two very important projects. One important project is related to the production of the energy, renewable energy. How it's possible to produce energy using the fusion for energy. And now we are working in Granada in order to build the specific infrastructure to develop this kind of technology. It's the accelerator of particles in order to investigate the new materials, in order to do the core of the nuclear reactor to produce fusion for energy, to support the high level of temperature that is necessary to support to produce this kind of energy. And what happened? This is a very important field to apply the artificial intelligence. For example, now we are working with IBM in order to define the specific application of quantum computing and the definition of the artificial intelligence algorithms in order to design the digital twin for the infrastructure, because the roadmap of the infrastructure is around 20-25 years. But I think that it's possible with the application of artificial intelligence to reduce the time of this kind of the research. Additional, you know that we are working now in Granada in order to define the new sustainability campus, because we had the very interesting natural laboratory. We had the Sierra Nevada mountain close to Granada, 30 minutes by car, and we had the sea close to Granada again. And now in Granada we developed a very important project about this topic. It's called LightWatch. The fundamental of the LightWatch is how it's possible to define different artificial intelligence algorithms in order to predict the climatology change, but with this natural laboratory. Now we implementing different technology in the Sierra Nevada mountain in order to investigate this. I think that it's a good opportunity to focus in the real world.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now we move to the final theme, ADIA Lab Europe and the UAE. Question for Dr. Horst Simon. In your previous position, you were chief scientist at one of the leading research centers in the world, Berkeley Lab. The US National Laboratory is responsible for many of the technologies that we enjoy today, including CT scans, energy-efficient appliances, battery optimization, innovative cancer treatments, LED technologies, carbon dating, energy-saving windows, microchip lithography, particle accelerators, and on and on and on. 16 elements of the periodic table. It's an impressive list. What attracted you most about ADIA Lab when you decided to relocate to Abu Dhabi and join us as director? And what would you like to achieve for ADIA Lab and ADIA Lab Europe?
Thank you, Marcus. The biggest attraction is that there is, in a sense, a long-term commitment here to make progress in basic science, and that the setup of ADIA Lab is an independence, and the independence and the long-term commitment are factors that are extremely important, and also, of course, the charter to explore computational and data science, and these are two important directions that I think that will have an impact on science in the long term. So since you mentioned Berkeley Lab, I would like to mention two things that are important, and this is bringing in the best people and giving them the freedom to explore, and I believe that ADIA has created with ADIA Lab exactly this opportunity. And so this applies to ADIA Lab both here in Abu Dhabi and also in Granada. And I think that these are important factors that will help to accomplish great breakthroughs. And my experience is that in 10 or 15 years, I would not know who of today's contributors has made the breakthrough discovery that will really change the world in 10 or 15 years. But this is what I would like to hope long-term, to look back and sit here in this room, maybe in 2035 or 2036, and say what we've done in 23 and 24 was the right decision, and somebody who was just hired into the project made a major impact on health science or on climate science using data and computation.
Wonderful, and that's a very exciting vision. Her Excellency Carmen Artigas, before becoming a government official leading the digital transformation of a major EU economy, you also had a very successful career as an entrepreneur and a startup founder. In your view, how can governments encourage innovation and startups in a cost-effective manner? What are the ingredients of a global digital hub?
Yes, I mean, we're talking about how Spain has moved from a very traditional economy, and now the digital economy accounts for 24%. We think this is not enough. We want that this becomes like 40%. And to move from 24 to 40, we need to invest in the digital economy and support startups. And startups have a lot of ingredients. They need to be in an ecosystem that involves scientific excellence, infrastructures. We have those infrastructures on broadband. We also have high-performance computing infrastructures. But there's an important infrastructure which is innovation and talent. So I always talk that above, on top of the digital infrastructures we have invested in and created, Spain still lacks an infrastructure of innovation, and infrastructure and talent. And I talk about the word infrastructure because, of course, we have excellent researchers. You are an example, trained in the public universities. But we don't have a systematic way to repeat that success. So that creates that infrastructure. So we, first of all, have defined a law, the first law in the world, which is a startup law, which is trying to attract entrepreneurs, investors, and talent to Spain with a very important tax payment exemptions, but also a lot of incentives for innovators. Because in the digital economy, innovators can be anywhere. They decide where to live. Spain has become the 4th preferred country to telework during the pandemic. And that is our added value because we have a high quality of life, high quality of public services, such as health, high personal security. And before we were a country that was a very good country to live, but a very bad country to work. And people like you move to countries where it's very good to work and less good to live. And I think now Spaniards don't have to choose anymore because we are the best place to live and we want to be the best place to work. And that infrastructure means having access to infrastructures, public services, innovators, the better relationship between university and industry. We are good at academia, but very bad at innovation. That gap needs to be covered with transfer, supporting spin-offs for universities. That's also changed in the startup law and in the science law. And very important, we must be a talent hub. There is a global competition for talent. And I would say the aftermath is that clever boys and girls want to work with clever boys and girls. And then you need to attract talent. And one of the ideas we have here is just to create a talent hub with international collaborations. And we also need to support not only startups, but the scale-ups. Really, where we struggle in Europe generally, we produce that same number of startups in Europe and the same number of startups in the US. The problem is when these startups need to grow, when they are coming from the early stages to like Series B forward, they do not find in Europe the right money to become unicorns. We have changed that. We are changing the rules of the game in Spain. And we have launched the biggest venture fund, public-private venture fund in Europe, 8 billion euros to support scale-ups in deep tech. So just with less than 1 year, we have now in Spain 350 million euro funds where we didn't have a single fund above 100 1 year ago. That goes on at European level. We are supporting with 1 billion the European Tech Champions Initiative together with France and Italy, aiming to have more 1 billion funds in Europe. And I think that altogether, I hope we can see the outcome in 5-year times. And having my obsession is that there is no single good project in Spain that cannot find in Spain all the money necessary to become a unicorn. So we'll see in 5-year times.
Wonderful, and that makes the collaboration between Abu Dhabi and Spain a marriage in heaven. Winters in Abu Dhabi and summers in Spain.
No, one question. No, just an idea we have not covered. He was just, when I saw your beautiful picture collaborations, there was a part of the map you are not focusing, which is Latin America. Mm-hmm. I think that we can be very useful to bridge that relationship with Latin America.
Absolutely, absolutely. Professor Enrique Herrera, the University of Granada has a long and rich history dating back to at least the year 1531. It is the European university with the largest number of exchange students and faculty, the Erasmus program. What can the University of Granada offer to students and faculty at UAE universities?
Firstly, I see that Granada city, that all people know, is a beautiful city, a nice city, okay, with a very good condition to live. This is important. We have a very good health system, public health system. We have a very good condition for the quality of the life, the food, okay. But
and
the important, Alhambra, okay, historical city, okay, it's possible to, and then it's a small, medium city that is possible to go to every part walking, really. In my case, I live in the center and never I use the car. It's the safety city, but in relation with the activity in the university, we offer the international university that before I say you, because we receive, as you say, a lot of students, but no students, many professors for the many continents, city, important university. Even the Granada University is the only university in Europe that we had 2 campuses in 2 different continents, in the north of the Africa, we had 2 campuses with different disciplines, and then in Granada, of course. But the reason I say to you that it's international, but the dimension of Granada University is high. We had around 54,000 students, and we received around 7,000 students for other universities with 7,000 professional administration people. It's the big, really, it's the big company in Granada City. This is the very interesting academic framework, because in all parts of the city it's possible to identify different university symbols. The university participate in many, many different activities. But then we had good laboratory, and specifically now in the last 10 years, we are working in the goal to get very important infrastructure, not only talent, we had a big talent, but we are working now to have very sophisticated and big infrastructure, because really we need this kind of resource in order to produce high, excellent research. Similar to the previously I said you, the construction, the building of the accelerator particularly Midones project is very important, but it's not the only important infrastructure that we are working now. And we offer this opportunity to the student and to the professor. And then, I say you, it's important to say that Granada University is general university, and we offer the opportunity to learn in the interdisciplinary framework. This is important. I say you, not only technological activity, we develop many humanity activity, cultural activity. We spend a lot of time and money in order to develop many, many cultural activity on the city. This is the other important activity that we had in the university. I think that it's a good university to develop the training, the teaching, and the research, to produce excellent research for the future for students for our university here.
Indeed, indeed. Final question to His Excellency Íñigo de Palacio. What excites you most about the future of the UAE-Spain relationship, given that we are already in November? What is in your Santa Claus list for the year 2024?
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think bilateral relations are made of personal contacts and good projects. I aspire in 2024 to see a flurry of high-level visits back and forth in the UAE and Spain, getting to know each other better, and continue to focus on main areas of economic and commercial activity. We have outlined 4 or 5 main areas. First, in the field of railways, we want to share with the UAE the best technology in railways, and I think it's been long established that Spain has the technology. We're working on that. We're working for the high-speed train line Abu Dhabi-Dubai for the conceptual preliminary project, and we will continue. We're going to provide a ghost operator for Etihad Rail and the like. Secondly, defense. Defense is an area where Spain can transfer a lot of technology here, and we can work together on various projects. I'm speaking about new remote systems, I'm speaking about simulation, I'm speaking about communications, electronic warfare systems and the like. We are working together with a number of companies here. Joint ventures have been signed in the past, in February this year on the occasion of the IDEX fair, and we brought commercial delegations, and I'm particularly confident that in this area we're going to continue working. Just to give you an example of the reach of our technology, we are the providers to the Ministry of Defense here of the knowledge to prepare the worthiness certificate for the new fighter jet of the UAE, the Calidus B250, and we're going to expand to do the same for naval and land platforms. And then we have the field of sustainability, energy, hydrogen. You must know that Masdar has decided to open up the regional office for Spain, Europe, Latin America, Northern Africa in Madrid. And when the CEO of Masdar was asked, why have you decided on Madrid, he said, because Spain has the best talent for renewables in the world, and it is easily available. These are not my words, these are friends' words, Masdar CEO. We will continue to work on this. There are many things to do in terms of waste management, waste treatment, energy technologies. Hydrogen is something that we need to explore further. And of course, agrotechnology. It is our next commitment for next year. And finally, I want to flag one thing that is really attracting us, and it is healthcare. We see that there is a tremendous demand for healthcare here, specialized treatments, personalized medicine, where the use of artificial intelligence is intensive. I can think in a number of areas. We're working on a number of them. I don't want to be indiscreet, but there are going to be a couple of news next year in the healthcare field, because I think the country is ripe for this, and it could be converted into a certain hub for the provision of certain medical treatments and healthcare. That has to do with wellness, preventive medicine, biomedicine, and the like. So broadly, these are the main areas where we're going to be focusing on, and of course, science and technology, with all the projects that we've been discussing about, and all the things our colleagues in the organization of researchers and scientists are going to be suggesting to us in the coming months and year. Thank you.
That's an exciting future to look forward to. Let me open the floor for questions.
So this morning we hear a very interesting talk with Professor Chu talking about the state of climate change and also the dangerous path that we are going. I was very interested to hear also that the new revolutions only added to the energy mix. They didn't replace from it. So now it seems that we are in front of a new revolution, which is AI and new technologies. We already heard Bitcoin.
Can I ask you please to repeat the question for the online?
Yes. Hello. Hi. So this morning we heard a very interesting talk from Professor Chu explaining about the state of climate change and also the dangerous path that we are. I was very interested to hear about that the new revolutions that we heard only added to the energy mix. We didn't replace or we didn't reduce it. So it seems that now we are in front of a new revolution, the digital revolution and the artificial intelligence. So trying to link both. And I was very interested to hear from Her Excellency Carmen Artigas about the green algorithms. Could you explain a little bit more about green algorithms? And would it be possible to be net zero by design now that we are starting? And maybe, I don't know, Dr. Horst maybe can add from the experience of that, if possible.
Yes, thank you. So yes, when we were realizing that the artificial intelligence has a lot of very important impact in reduction of so digitalization of economy, thanks to AI, automation helps reduce the consumption of energy, raw materials, and CO2 emissions. But we were starting witnessing that AI also has a very important impact in environment, especially in energy consumption and water consumption, coming from the data centers, especially with large language models. And nobody's measuring this. And we started to now we are having a chair that starts designing a method to see the impact of artificial intelligence in climate. And we are seeing this in blockchain. I mean, we are not measuring enough the negative effects of blockchain, energy consumption, especially in water. And just comparing, our brain processes 3 times more than the largest language model, but we are fed by a sandwich per day, 110 grams, and then we need a data center that is like 3 football, soccer fields and consumes 10 times more water than a 100,000 people city. And that is not sustainable. We really want to invest in AI. We need to invest in technologies that help us reduce the carbon footprint and the energy consumption, but at the same time develop those algorithms by design. And adding to this strategy, where so far we're a small country, but we're investing an initial of 300 million euros, we have 2 important bets, vertical bets. He has just mentioned some important sectorial sectors that are going to grow in Spain, but there are 2 more we have not mentioned. One is green hydrogen. We have PERTE, that is a strategic or flagship project on the production of green hydrogen in Spain, and also the semiconductors PERTE, that they were going to devote 11 billion euros to, and it's the biggest number in Europe, to recover some of the production capacities that we had in Spain in the 90s, but especially on the design of semiconductors, also assembly, and also substrate, and potentially white rooms, and potentially sort of foundry. And that is important because the next generation of artificial intelligence will not depend so much on software and the hardware. And we see a lot of trends in video, for example, which are the key for the future model. So I think all together needs to be encompassed by a national strategy. And the impact of the digital agenda itself, just with the reindustrialization of current industry and digitalizing, as we expect, from the 24% to the 40%, is already projecting a reduction of 10% of CO2 emissions in Spain. So I think at the end of the day, it's a little bit of everything that we need to cover, not just one thing, it's multifactorial, but I think we're in the right trend.